is unions in C. So we have already seen structures, and we know it is a user-defined data type. So unions are yet another user-defined data type in C, which allows you to combine multiple types together and create variables of your type, whatever you want. So that is user-defined basically. So there is a difference then between structures and unions. So if you already have structures which combines these types, why do you require a union? So union is logically somewhat different than structures. The difference is that in the case of unions, you have different memory areas. In case of unions, you have the same memory being used for different components. So different components actually share the memory area. So whenever you actually create a variable of type union, then at a time only one component of the union will be active, whichever you assign the last. So suppose you are having a union of ABC, three components in the union A, B, C. Then suppose you say, and suppose the union variable is u. So suppose you say u dot A equal to something, then you say u dot C equal to something, and then you say u dot B equal to something. Then what happens in case of a union is that only C's value is recognized. So whatever value you saved, sorry, B's value. So whatever value you saved last, that will be saved in the union's memory area. So the question is, how is memory allocated for a union variable? So the union variable, the memory is allocated such that the memory is equal to the memory of, or the size of, the largest component of the union. Okay, so let us see an example for that. Before the example, let us see the syntax. The syntax is, again, you use a type def keyword. This is optional. You can directly use union name like you did for structures. Okay, but this makes naming the variables easier. You do not have to use the word union again. Uh, so what you do is type def union curly brackets. In that you have again your components one by one listed. Okay, so data type component 1, data type, okay, data type 2, some other data type, this is a mistake, data type 2 component 2, and so on, data type n component n, and then followed by your union name. So you are giving it a name, union name T, union name type. Okay, so this is a syntax. Let us see what I meant by the earlier statement, that is this. Okay, the size. So to understand what is the size of, total size of any type or any variable, we can use of the size of operator. Okay, the size of operator we can use. Okay, now this size of operator, what we have done in this program is, using the same syntax that I showed earlier, we have created 3 different unions, and we'll find out the size now. In the first union, test 1, if you see it, test 1, actually test 1 is the union which I'll use, the name which I'll use. I will not use union test 1, I'll use this capital T test 1 later on to declare the variables of this union. Okay, so there are 2 variables, both the variables have the same type, that is int. Okay, so in this case, what did I tell you? What statement did I make? I made the statement that the size of the union variable, that is this variable, will be equal to the size of the largest component of the union. Okay, so now these two are having the same size. So it will be equal to size of any one, because the size of both of an integer will remain same on a system. So the size, if it is a 32-bit compiler, then the size will be 4 bytes. Okay, so size of will return, remember size of returns, whatever size of returns in terms of bytes is compiler dependent. Okay, it could be 2 bytes for an int, it could be 4 bytes, so it is compiler dependent. Okay, so on test, for test 1, if I do, I should get 4 bytes since this is a 32-bit compiler. Test 2, now if you notice, it has two different components, I mean of two different types. So one is an int, the second is a char. So we know that char will give me a 1 byte and int will give me 4 or 2 depending on the compiler. So the larger size is int. So the size of this variable of type test2, that is t2, will be 2 bytes, 2 or 4 bytes. That is the size of int. Okay. Similarly, the third example has two components. First is an integer array and second is a character. So out of these, the size of the integer array is of course larger. So that is why the size of this union will be equal to the size of the integer array. Okay, so let us quickly run this. What we have done in main is we have created the three variables test1 t1, test2 t2 and test3 t3, and then what we are doing is we are printing out the sizes using the size of operator. And this format specifier is long unsigned int. Okay, so since size of returns an unsigned int, we are using this. So when you run this, you will see you'll see that size of test1 is 4. The first example was int char, so higher, the larger data type is int, of course. So it will be 4 bytes. Size of 2 will be, sorry, it was int, sorry. So both are same. So in that case, it will be 4. Size of test2 will be larger of the two, that is 4 again. And size of test3 will be the size of the array because this is the larger of the two again. Okay, so 4 into 10, right? 4 bytes for each int multiplied by 10 array locations. So 4 tens are 40. So the size of the third variable t3 is 40. So that is how the size is allocated. In case of structures, what happens is the size is equal to the sum of the sizes of the individual components. So for if this instead of this, it was a structure instead of a union, then in that case, the size of this will be 4 plus 4, that is 8. So if I just change this, I'll just change this quickly to struct. Okay, I'll change it to struct and let me print it again and see what it is. Okay, I should get it as 8. So I'll compile it. I'll run it and see the size of test1 has changed to 8. Okay, this is about the size. So I hope you've understood how the size is allocated. Size of a union variable is always equal to the size of the largest component that is there in it. Okay. Now, apart from this, I talked about shared memory. Different components share the same memory area. Okay. To understand this, what we can do is, let us, for the same example, allocate some memory. I mean, allocate some value to the component. So for example, T1 variable I've created, it has two integers. Okay, I changed it back to structure. Let me make it union. Okay. Let me say T1.x equal to 5. This is a valid assignment because like structures, unions also, if you want to assign the values, you make use of the direct component selection operator. It's same, everything is same, only thing is the sharing of memory is there. Okay, so t1.x is equal to 5, t1.y equal to 10. Now let me try to print this out. Percent %d t1 dot x. Okay. I'll say t1 dot x is equal to percent %d. Okay, it's an integer. I'll run it. So what is it showing? t1 dot x is equal to 10 because it whatever, so it is not valid actually. So what is happening? The last memory, and the memory is common, it is only 4 bytes and both are integers. So whatever you stored last is printed. So t1 dot x is not printed. If I change this order, if I change this order, what will happen? I will get the t1 dot x value correctly as 5. Because what happened was it was overwritten. At a point, only one value will be there in the union. So that is meant by sharing of memory. Okay. So if I print both here, t1 dot x as well as t1 dot y, I will show that as well. And I will say first point is t1 dot x, t1 dot y is equal to, t1 dot y, and second is t1 dot y. Okay. Suppose I do this. So for both, it will print the same. Let us see the second, the third structure, a third union. In this case, I am saying t3 dot, you have for t3, one is an integer array and second is a character. Suppose I say t1 dot y equal to it's a single character r. I can put any character, some arbitrary character. t1 dot array. Now it's an integer array. Okay. t1 dot array of 0 is equal to 10. Okay. And if I print t3 dot array of 1 is equal to 20, just two variables, two values I'm assigning. And what I will do is, here I will print t3's character first. Character is, what was the name? It was y. Yeah, it was y. So t3 dot y is equal to %c. t3 dot array of 0 is equal to %d, and t3 of array 1 is equal to %d. Okay, so it is t3 dot y, t3 dot, I'll just change that to t3 array of 0, and t3 dot array of 1. Okay. So let us compile this again. So see, t3 dot y, it is not able to print anything because we have overwritten that. After this, and the moment we do this assignment, t3 dot arr, this becomes active in memory. So this is gone. Okay, so at one point only one of the components will be active. So now arrays will print correctly. So array of 0, 1, 2, all 10 elements I can assign the values. It will print here. But remember that whichever I assign last, that will be the active element in memory. So if I assign this as last, I will get this value. So if I assign this as the last element, and let us run this. So I am getting R correctly. and look at the values of ARR 0 and this. It is garbage. You do not know what it is. It is something is there, but it is garbage. Okay. So why? So it is possible that you're getting sometimes a correct value because the size is equal to the largest size. The size of the union is 40 bytes in this case. But what is stored is the character. So the correct answer will be whatever you are storing at the end. Okay, so it's very important to understand this. Whatever you assign last, that component will be active. That is how union memory is allocated. Okay. So any questions so far? Please let me know on the chat. Any questions? You cannot hear me? Can people hear me? Okay. Okay, you can hear. Okay. I thought you cannot hear. I've been talking. Anyways, any questions? I hope you have understood the how the memory is allocated for unions. Okay. So far we have seen that only. So now we will move on to the next. We'll take an example. Okay. Next example is this. So define a union to represent a student's courses. A course can be a lab course or a theory course. The lab course has ISE marks. The theory course has ISE and ESE marks. Okay. So what we will do is we will try to represent this via union. So why do you require union? So sometimes in some situations you want to store either one of the two cases. Okay, so if you use a structure, you can do that using a structure as well. But when you do that using a structure, you will waste memory. You will allocate memory for all courses. So if I have a structure of courses with lab course as well as theory course, so we'll see that how to do it. Then I'll be wasting memory for whatever objects I create. So if it is, even if it is a lab course, then it will have the components of theory as well. So it will have ISE as well as ESE. Only thing is ESE will remain blank. Okay. We are just assuming that the lab course is having ISE marks and theory course is having ISE as well as ESE marks. Okay. We're just assuming that some lab courses can have ESE marks as well, like your SPA lab is having ESE marks as well. Okay. So we're just assuming for now that lab course has only ISE marks just to show the difference. And theory course is having ISE and ESE marks. So if I represent this problem using a structure, then what will happen is I will be wasting memory. So to avoid that, that means any course will have both the ISE components as well as the ESE components. So for that, what we can do is we can create structures and we can create union of those structures. Now union and structures, you also have to remember that you can not only create structure types using primitive type, but you can create structure types using other structure types as well. So you can have a composite structure type where the members or where the components of that structure can be structure types, other structure types. Okay. Even unions, you can create a union in which the components are not only primitive types, but they could be structure types. So what we will do is, for this example, we will be doing that. So what we will do is, first of all, we will create a structure we will create a structure of type, I'll create a struct, and in that I will have ISC and ESC marks, right? So I will have double ISC comma ESC. This structure type, name is theory course. This is a theory course. Okay, this is a theory type. The other structure type will be a lab structure type. Okay, so this will have only ISC. Fine. So these two structures internally they are different. So they have different components. So they will be represented using different types. One is having ISC, ESC, the other is having only ISC. Okay, the marks. Okay. Now, for this union, what we will do is we will create a union now. Okay, that union will have a variable of both theory type as well as structure type. So theory type course 1, okay, or lab type course. I'll call it L. I'll call it L, and I'll call it lab, or I'll call this theory. Okay. What I've done is in this union, let me call this union as course. In this union or course type, course T, fine. In this union, I have included as components structure types. Okay. The first component is a theory structure, a variable of type, okay, theory T. And the second component is a variable of type lab T. So at a time, a course, can be either a lab course or a theory course. Okay. So if the course is a theory course, then in that case, what we will do is we will display the ISC as well as ESC marks. If it is lab course, we will display the ISC marks only. Okay. So now, we simply have to do that. So for this, we cannot represent this entire problem with only these three things. What we have to do is we need to create one more type, that is a struct type. And in that, what we will do is we will create a flag, okay, which will tell whether it is theory or lab. And depending on that, it will choose either the theory or the lab course. Okay. Now, since it's going to choose either of them, what variable I should create here? Can anyone tell me on the chat? So depending, see, this is my, finally, this is my, I can call this as course data, and this will be my course actually. Okay. Course type. So depending on the flag, either this or this will be selected. So what should be the second component of this structure? I need an answer from you. Either the theory or the lab will be selected. So can you tell me? It should be a union. So what I will do, I will create course data type and some variable for that. Okay. I will call it course. We call it course. Now, for this, what we will do is whenever we are creating variables now, we will create variables of this type only, the last type only, and then we'll see how to access via the component selection operators down the tree. So what we have done is, let us visualize this. So what we have done is course T. Okay. Course T is having two parts. One is a flag and second is a course data type variable. I'm just writing. It's a course data type variable so that you understand. So now this course data type is having it's a union. It is having two. One is theory, one is lab. Okay. So one is that means one is of type theory T, other is of type lab T. So theory T, theory type, and second is lab type. Okay. So it course data type is having theory type, lab type, and theory type is having ISE, ESE. Fine. So ISE as well as ESE, and this lab T is having only ISE. So this is the tree. Okay, this is a tree. So course T is a structure. Course T is a structure which has two components. One is a character flag. It's a char flag, which will decide which of the courses it is. Based on the flag, it has to create an object of a particular type. It has to create a variable of a particular type. Okay. So it is course data type. The second component is course data type, which is a union type, which combines theory as well as lab. And theory will have ISE, ESE, lab will have ISE. So this is our structure actually, what we have created. This is a hierarchical kind of a structure that we have created via our program. Okay. Now what we will do is, we'll go back to the program and we will write two functions. First is to create a create a course. That means you have to give some marks to the course, and second is to create the lab course. Okay. So what we will do is, to create the theory lab, whatever it is, it could be any course, and second is to print those marks. Okay. So what we will do is, for printing those marks, for creating that course, what we will do is void create course. Okay. And here what we will do is, we will have a variable of type course T, the final structure that we have created, course T. And here what we will do is, okay, we will check, or here only inside what we will do, we will create, rather than here as a parameter, we will put it as a variable here, course T C, some C. Then what we will say, enter type of course. Okay, type of course. So now what we will do here is, we will ask the user to enter the type of course. So we will do a %C and we will say C dot flag. So once we do this, it's a structure. Remember, this course T type is a structure. So it will have both the variables, both the components, flag as well as the course data type T, this data T course, this both variables there available. Okay. Once you ask the course, we will say, let us assume that if the C is an L, then it is a lab course. If the C is that means the flag is a L, it is a lab course. If the flag is a T, it is a theory course. Okay. So if C dot flag is equal to T, then you should take the details of the theory course. That means in this structure, you will save which type? Theory type only. That means you have to follow this hierarchy up. Okay. So this from here, it will go to this union. Then from union, depending on the flag, it will select one of these two. So suppose the flag was a T, it will select the theory and it will ask for the ISE marks and ESE marks. On the other hand, if the flag was an L, then it will go here, it will select this component of the union, and as it is selecting this component, it will go to this and it will ask only for theory marks. It should ask the user for only theory marks. Okay. So what you will do is, if C dot flag is equal to T, we will write one something else. If C dot flag is equal to L, we will write something else. Okay, remember it's a character, it cannot be double quotes. I've used it wrongly. The single quote character, it is char type. Okay, and then else you can have some error case. Okay, sorry, course cannot be created. Okay, so now what I will do here is, here I will write, since it's a theory course, I will say printf enter ISE marks. First I will take the ISE marks, then I will take the ESE marks. Okay, so scanf. Now how to write this scanf is important. That is why I'm showing this example to you. So to write this scanf, what I will do is, it's a double. So it has to be, the type of the marks is double. So LF. Okay. Now see, what you can do is, you can also have other attributes. I'm just taken marks for the course. You can take the course name as well. Okay. You can take the course name as a third attribute in each of these structures. So for theory also you'll have course name. For lab also you'll have course name. But now just for showing this example, I have taken only the marks. Okay. So %LF. Now writing this is important. Of course, you will have the address of operator. Scanf with a double type, it has to be there, address of operator. Now inside this, I will say C dot, I have to access the components one by one. So first of all, I need to take the ISE marks. Now to access the ISE marks, I do not have any component called ISE here, but I have this. To go up to ISE, I have this. Okay. So I will say C dot course. The name of this component is course, which is nothing but the union type, right? This is the course variable. Now union type, any one you have to select. And what is that which has to be selected? Since it is T, it is the theory component. So I should say C dot course. So I am here now. When I say C dot course, I'm here now in this area. Now from this, I need to select theory. So I'll say dot theory. So whatever this is, C dot course dot theory. Now I am in this, in theory. I have reached theory now. Now in theory, I need to select ISE. So I will say dot ISE. So after this, I will say dot ISE. Semicolon. So you see how I have used a chain of direct component selection operators. So we have used one by one, dot, dot, dot. So go up till the component, the crudest component that you have, following that tree upwards. So whatever hierarchy tree we have created here, Is it now? So this is the tree that we have created. We are here, so we in fact downwards only. We have created upside down only. Okay. So from here you select, see the flag. Based on the flag, you go here, either this or this, depending on the flag. Okay, and follow this tree basically. Okay, so we are following this direction. From here, check the flag, go here. From here, you go to the theory type. Theory type, you go to the ISC. That is how you are putting the dots. Course T dot dot dot. Okay, so this is how you are following the tree. Dot dot dot. Fine. Similarly, we will ask for, since it's theory, we will ask for the ESE marks as well. So we will put ESE marks. Here we will say C dot course dot theory dot ESE. Everything else will remain the same because we have to go up to the theory course. Only thing is, instead of selecting ISE, now we will select ESE. Okay. So ISE as well as ESE. Now once we do this, what we will do is, we will write the same code for L, but only the lab course is having only ISE, plus we go till the course, C dot course, right? Course, instead of theory, now we have to select the lab. So this will be a lab. Okay. And then C dot course dot lab dot ISE. Fine. So this is about the create course. Now once I do this, I have any of the course, depending on the flag, one course will be created. But what is remaining here? The course is only local to this function, right? I need to return this course back. Like whenever you're creating a course, the read, when you create a read function, you return that type back. So what I will do is, I will return the type back. So I'll say return, yeah, return C. So I'll return this variable back. So since I'm returning this variable back, the return type of this function should be course type. Okay. So this is basically creating a course, and then you can write a function to print the course. That means you will simply print the marks. Okay. So one more function we will create, print. We'll just copy this so that quickly we do it. Print course. Okay. Now for print course, the return type as usual will be, what should it be? It should be void, right? You do not have to return any value, you simply have to print. But print course should take one argument, and that should be the course type. The course type C will be here rather than this. Okay. Now, here you will not ask the user to enter the type of course, because the type of course is already saved in that variable C. So you already have the variable C here, which is passed. So here you will directly check the flag. So you will check if C's flag is T, then print the ISE marks. Now you will only print. So wherever there's a scanf, you will just print. You will remove the address of operator everywhere. It's a printf. This is the ESE marks. So what we will do is, we'll put a new line everywhere so that we can read. Okay. ISE marks. C dot flag. Again, there's a printf. Here, this has to be a printf. Now, once these two functions are created, one is for reading. So course creation is nothing but reading, and this is for printing. What we can do is, we can create a small main to test these functions. Okay, my main has main. So inside main, we'll create a variable of type course T. Course T. Suppose one course we are creating and second course we are creating. 2 courses. And then what I will do is, I will say, I will create the 2 courses one by one. So I will call the create course function twice, one for C1, second time for C2. So how will the call be? C1 equal to create course, because I have to populate C1. And I will say C2 is equal to create course. Okay. These are the function calls for create course. Remember, this void print course should not return any value. I'll remove this. Okay. And then I will print the 2 courses. Okay. So what I will do, I will say print course, right? Print course parameter should be of type C, course type, that is C1 once, and next time it will be print course C2. Okay. So this will print my data, whatever I have taken. Once I write this, let me clear the screen and run it. GCC union 2. Enter the type of course. So enter the type of course. I have to say T or L. So I say T. Put a space. Just a minute. Yeah, again. Why it is not printing? T is equal to okay. Let me see. If the C dot flag is T, okay, I forgot to put the address of operator here. That is why it is not working in scanf. I put the address of operator now. I save it, compile it, enter the type of course T. Now it is working. So ISC marks we will see. Theory course I have entered now. So C1, my C1, see, I have created 2 objects or 2 variables here, C1 and C2. First, I said it is a theory course, so it is asking me for ISC marks. So ISC marks is, say, ISC marks is 20. Actually, it will have ISC, MSc, ESC. I'm just giving an example. That is why I've taken. Suppose ESC marks are 80. Okay. So ISC marks are 20, ESC marks are 80. Now, why this is happening is because I have to put a space before the %C. Okay. So our type of course is theory, 20 and 80. Okay. So what happened is, actually, whenever you're taking character data, you have to be careful about the space. So next time that it takes it eats up your new line character actually. So you should put a space before %C. I hope by now you have understood how to use %C type. So I put a space now. So now it is working. Otherwise it was not waiting for me to enter. It directly jumped to the output. Okay. So I could not enter my second course data because the type was a char. Okay. Now enter type of course. Again, it is asking. Now suppose I say it is lab course L, then it will ask only for ISC marks. Did I make that change? Yes, it is asking only for ISC marks. And then suppose I say 40. So it will say ISC marks are 20, 80, ESC marks are 80. This is the first course. So actually you can write it, write a printf. First course is theory course, ISC, ESC. And then second course is lab course, ISC. Okay, that is what you can print. Where you can print here only you can say printf theory course. Since it's a T in the flag, you can say printf theory course. So it will help you to understand. So theory course, and here you can print lab course. Fine. So Control C, Control V, lab course. So that will make it more clearer. Fine. So this example actually shows how you can make use of unions, and then you can also use them inside components of structures. Any questions? Do we have to use the address of operator? Yes. If for scanf, if it is a double or int or float or char, you have to use address of operator. Only for string you do not have to use, because string name, when you write as it means address of the first location. So you are passing the address only. So you suppose string you have a string in your program as str. So if you write in scanf comma str, where there's a %s, you write comma str, so it will mean address of str of 0 only. It reads that. Okay. Yeah. But it's here it was a char type. That is why I put address of operator. Okay. Now, any more questions? If we create a union and structure of same name, yes, it will give you error. Okay. So what I will do is, I will quickly switch to the next example, which is there. This example, I want to give it as practice to you. It is similar to this example which we have done, but it is a little more complicated, so that you can try it out. You have 1 week's time before we meet next time. I'll show the solution in the next class directly. I'll just discuss in 5-10 minutes the solution for the second example. Okay. This is the example. I'll just show my screen. So just understand that you have to create a shape. You have to find the area and perimeter of shape. So first you define the structure type for each figure of interest. So suppose you are considering 3 shapes: circle, rectangle, square. Okay. So for each of these shapes or figures, you can call them figure or shape interchangeably. What we will do is, you will create structure type, like we created for lab and theory, 2 different types. What we will do, we will create structure types. Okay. For circle you will create structure, for rectangle you will create a structure, for square you will create a structure. So what will be the data components of these structures? So for example, for rectangle you will have area, perimeter, width, height. For square you will have area, perimeter, side. For rectangle, for circle you will have area, circumference, radius, like that. So they're different, right? 3 shapes will have different parameters. So we'll have 3 different structures. That is the first step. Second step is, you have to create a union of these 3 figures. Like you created a union called course data, right? So either lab course or theory course. So you create a union of 2 components for that example. For this example, you will create a union of 3 components: the circle type, the rectangle type, and the square type. These will be the 3 components present in the union. And then what you will do is, finally you will create a structure containing both a union type and a component of uh, like a flag, whose value will denote which is the correct interpretation of the union. So like we created a flag now for lab and theory, what we will do, either L or T, here we will have 3 values for the flag. So that means in this structure, final structure, you will create a flag and you will create a shape, that figure type. You will create a variable of the figure type. Okay. So what you will do, that flag will have either 3 values: C, R, or S. Circle, rectangle, or square. So depending on that, it should choose the correct option. And then you should write compute area, compute perimeter, all these functions you can write. So first of all, reading the dimensions of the figure, you have to do one function, and second function to compute the area, third function to compute the perimeter. These three functions have to be there, plus fourth will be to print the figure. So for printing the figure, you can write the print function that we have seen. Okay, 4 functions. First, understand 4 functions. First is for getting the dimensions, second is for computing the area, third is for computing the perimeter, and fourth is for printing the details of the figure. So everything it will print out. So suppose the figure was a square, it will print out the side of the square, the area, and the perimeter. It will print everything. Okay, so you practice this example, and in the next lecture we will see the solution to it. First 5-10 minutes we'll see the solution to this. Okay, so this actually ends your topic structures and unions. Whatever is required for your as part of a syllabus, this ends the topic. Okay, next lecture we will go back to pointers, and we will see more of pointers with arrays and 2-dimensional pointers as well. So we will see pointers more in detail in the next week's lecture. Okay, so this is all I have to say for today. And before you leave, I want you to fill out the form. So I'll just put the link quickly here for you. So before you leave, please fill the form. Can you please show me the screen off? Okay. I'll show the screen if you want to see. So you see this. These are structures, 1, 2, 2 structures. Then you have the union. Then this is the struct, final struct. Next is your create course, where you're reading, depending on what is the type of the course, you're reading the ISE marks. If it is theory, ISE plus ESE, then the lab marks, that is ISE. And finally, the print course. Depending on the type, it will print theory or lab course details. And finally, the main function, where you're creating the variables, populating the variables using create course. This is reading, and this is printing. Yes, Swaraj, you could see the screen? Yeah. Please fill the form before leaving, otherwise you'll not get attendance. If you have any doubts, you can ask now. If you have more doubts later on, you will get more doubts, definitely, I suppose. So you can ask me via email or WhatsApp. I'll answer your doubts. Except for attendance, other doubts. You will get, Devansh will get the attendance. Your name is there? Prathamesh, your name you have put? That's enough. There's only one Prathamesh in your class, right? Okay.